Welcome back, and we continue with our questions on viral hepatitis. Should people have a special solution with which they wash their hands, like we did during Ebola, just to prevent getting hepatitis?
Maybe not to wash hands. Yes, you should wash your hands. Normal, safe, and safety hygiene should be practiced. However, to clean surfaces that could have been exposed to the virus, we can use the normal house bleach, and you can use the dilute one to clean, sodium hypochlorite to clean surfaces that could have been exposed to the blood, and to the blood that contains hepatitis B or C.
Okay, so once body fluid is somewhere, you should be thinking of a safe way of cleaning it off without, getting it to touch you.
Yeah,
now, we've mentioned a vaccine for hepatitis B, but none for A. What's being done about hepatitis? Hepatitis C, not A.
Good thing about hepatitis C now is that up to 90% of people with hepatitis C can be cured if they have hepatitis B. Totally. Recently, there are drugs that are called the directing-acting agents that help to cure hepatitis B. Within 6 months, people can be cured for hepatitis C. And if somebody is having, if you're practicing, you have practices that could expose you to hepatitis C, like unsafe injections, maybe IV drug user, sharing a needle injection or sex, you should actually avoid those things. If somebody is on high, you want to share needles for maybe in an hospital, demand to use new needles, demand for sterilized equipment. Some people are trying to manage, maybe you go for a dental procedure and they are sharing maybe the dental.
But many people don't know about that autoclave in the dental, unit. They just open up the place, bring out new instruments, and tell you that everything was autoclaved last night.
I think that has to do with the Ministry of Health in terms of enforcing that facilities. We have FMR facilities that are supposedly taking care of our people are adequately following the principles for universal precautions against these infections. So if we have the FMR agency that license hospitals to start practicing, maybe they should try to go out more and more to see whether people are actually adequately autoclaving their instruments and sterilizing them.
Okay, and now we've come to some of the challenges. What challenges do you think we are up against, peculiarly in Nigeria, when it comes to eliminating hepatitis?
The first is ignorance, both from the people and the government. Basically, the people should know, and thank God for this advocacy we're doing. People should know about the existence of hepatitis and the severity of it, so that they can actually inform. You can tell your siblings, you can tell your friends, have you been screened, have you been tested? So it's not about you knowing about hepatitis. You'll be amazed that your friend does not know about hepatitis.
There's a question we ask every new mother. When you go visit the baby, you say, has the baby had
BCG?
BCG.
Yeah.
So we could do something like that, right?
Yes. Ask, have you been tested? Do you know about your hepatitis status? Then from the angle of the government, the policy makers, I think they should give hepatitis B much importance. That the same way they gave HIV, gave malaria and tuberculosis. In terms of funding will help advocacy with information treatment. The treatment for hepatitis B is very expensive. Though we have some cheap ones, we have some cheaper ones. Let me not say cheap ones. So we need the government should put in efforts, both financially, politically, to create awareness and to help people. There are so many people with hepatitis that do not even know what to do. They might not have so much to do to do the normal investigations.
But they could just go to a hospital and ask.
What I'm saying, even when they get to the hospital, most of the time they cannot afford
the procedure.
The average Nigerian might not be able to afford the treatment, might not be able to afford the investigations. So if they have subsidized, programs for a long time, HIV was subsidized. You get drugs free, you get tested free. If we can give such importance to hepatitis B, I'm sure because it is actually, Nigeria is an endemic society. It will go a long way to help our people.
Okay, and lastly now, somebody gets a vaccine as a baby. He has taken all his vaccines, has had his Hep B. Should he go back to the hospital to check himself when he's 20 or something?
Yes. Adequately, the vaccine, like I said, protects for up to and some more than 20 years. What they do is that we can check the titer of the antibodies in your body. If the antibody is adequate, you might not need a booster. But if the antibodies is not adequate, because some people get vaccinated and their bodies might not be able to mount the immune response they are supposed to have to generate towards the vaccine. So at times you might need to check the titer. There's a particular level. We use 10 international units. If it is adequate, yes, you don't need to get a booster.
Okay, we're going to have to close now.
Thank you.
So hepatitis B and C and ongoing work. Thank you so much for coming to the program and enlightening us. Thank you very much for being there for us. Remember, get tested. Know your status for viral hepatitis. Have a wonderful day. I'm Mary Alale Yusuf.